Okay, now we're going to look at some different statistical terms: mean, median, and mode. And we're going to find the mean, median, and mode of the different numbers that we have here. What we've actually gone is, I've gone around and I've asked some people, so the y-axis is my number of people in my survey, and my x-axis was which shoe size do you have? European shoe size. So we have here the x-axis as being shoe size, European. So my x-axis is the European shoe size, and my y-axis is the number of people in my investigation. And I just went around into some random classrooms and asked people for their shoe size. So there was one person who had a shoe size of 35. So let's make our axis here 35, 36, shoe size 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. And it doesn't matter that there was nobody who had that particular shoe size. Let's include it anyway, just to show that there was nobody who had that shoe size. We had one person who had a shoe size of 35. And you should draw these very neatly in your books with your rulers and shade them in. So we've written an axis here. We only had a maximum of 4 people. So we've got 4, 3, 2, 1 and 0. Here we can actually show that we're not actually going from 0 to 35 in such a short distance. There's actually a break in our x-axis, and we can demonstrate it with that little symbol there, a bit like a bolt of lightning. We had 0 people who had size 36. And we had 4 people who had size 37. So this is going to be a lot of people here on size 37. All the way up to 4. And for 38 as well. I'd expect you to draw these really neatly in your books with a ruler. But in order to save time for the movie, 37, 38 and 39 all had 4 people with that shoe size. And then when we came to 40, there was 2 people that had that shoe size. It's about here, so we'd go up to, so number 40 would look like this. 41, there was 2 people there as well. Same as for 40. 42, there was 1 person who had 42. A little bit high, sorry. Shoe size 42. And then 43, there was also 1 person who had 43. And there was nobody who had 44, nobody who had 45, and 1 person who had 46. Sometimes the question might ask you for the relative frequency. And if you're going to work out the relative frequency, it's just like, instead of writing it as a bar chart like this, you might actually write it as a percentage of all of the total people. How many percentage had 41? So I'm just going to mention that, although we've plotted this graph. How would we plot a graph if they'd said relative frequency? Well, what we'd have worked out was we'd have added up all the number of people here. 4 and 4 and 4, 4, 8, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There are 20 people that we asked about their shoe sizes. The relative frequency you would get by just dividing the number of people that had that shoe size divided by the total, multiply by 100 to turn it into percent. So 1 divided by 20 would be 0.05. That would be equivalent to 5%. 5% of all the people we asked had a size 35. Whereas 4 people, now that would be 5 times 4, that would be the same as 20% of the people had a size 35. The number of people was 4 divided by the total 20 times 100 would give us 20%. So we know that this one is also going to be 20%, 20%. 2 people would give us half of 20%, would give us 10%, 10%. And the 5% here, 5% for 1 and 5% for 1 person there. If we've done this right, all of those percentages should add up to be 100. Let's check that they do. 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, plus 5, 100. So relative frequency, instead of writing the number of people here, we could have had the same x-axis with the shoe size, but then had a scale of 0 to 20% instead of 0 to 4 people. That would have been the relative frequency. How much something occurred in relation to the total number of people that we investigated. We've decided to do it like this, and now the question is to find the mean, the median, and the mode. Well, let's start with the simplest one. The mode is always the simplest one. Because the mode, you really don't have to do anything at all. In Swedish, that's called typvärde. The mode is, which of these numbers occurs most often? Well, we have 3 numbers that occur most often. Size 37, size 38, and size 39. So there are 3 modes in this particular. We don't take an average of them. When it comes to mode, we actually state that there are 3 numbers that are the most commonly occurring shoe sizes in our investigation: 37, 38, and 39. And we don't take an average of those like we do if there'd been 2 numbers in median. We would have taken an average, but not for mode. Okay, well, how do we get the median then? Well, there are a couple of different ways of doing that. We can actually count from one side of the graph inwards to the other. So we take away this 46, this person here, cancels with this person here. This person here and this person here cancel with 2 of our people here. That would be this person and this person. We've finished those 2. These 2 people would cancel against these 2 people. So these are 2 people, and here are 2 people. These 2 people would cancel against these 2 people. Then we have a person here who would cancel against our next highest, which would be here in 39, and a person here that would cancel against our next highest in 39. And that actually gives us only 1 option left in the middle. We have actually 2 different variations, but both of them have size 39. So our middle number, just starting from either end of the graph and just cancelling people, it's just which number is slap bang in the middle is 39. Another way of doing that would have been able to put all of these shoe sizes in a row. 35, 37, 37, 37, 37, and end up here at 42, 43, 46, and just cancel from either extreme like this. 1 at a time, taking away until we get into the middle number. But that takes a lot of time. So once you've already taken the time to draw the graph like this, you might just as well go in from each side until you get to the middle number of the graph. Remembering that this height represents 1 person. So when you cancel, you're sort of cancelling that number of people at the same time. I'm thinking that each of these blocks here represents 1 person. So getting the median is quite easy as well. You're just looking for the middle number in your string. But in order to be able to get that to work, you have to put all the smallest numbers first and all the largest numbers last. So you have to put them in order of their number size, in chronological order. Then when you put them in order, you can just get into the middle number. If there had been a median of two numbers, maybe there'd been exactly two numbers here in the middle. What would we have done if we'd had 38 and 39 as both of our middle numbers? For median, we would have added those two numbers together and divided by 2, giving us a median of 38.5. If there are two numbers that are exactly in the middle, that's how we would find the median. Then the last one that we have to do is we need to then take the number of the total shoe sizes, all of the ones that we have, divided by the number of people asked. So this one's going to take us a bit of space. We had one size 35, but we had 4 size 37, and we have to take all 4 of these into consideration. So we can't just take one 37, because we had 4 people who had size 37, and all 4 of those people have to be there. So we could do 37 plus 37 plus 37 plus 37. But mathematicians are a bit lazy, so we don't bother doing that. Of course, it's much easier to write 4 times 37 instead of 37 added 4 times. Plus 4 times 38 plus 4 times 39 plus 2 times 40. 2 people had size 40 and 2 people had size 41, plus 1 person had 42 and 1 person had 43, and the last final person we can just squeeze here on the end, had 46. And we divide all of that by the number of people we had, which was 20. Okay, let's have a look at adding all of these then. Important here is to make sure you don't make a silly mistake. There's a lot of numbers being added together here, so do it step by step. Leave the 35 by itself for a moment and just work out all the multiply terms. Well, 4 7s are 28. Sorry, 8 here, carry 2 here. 4 3s are 12, plus 2 is 14. So we have 148. I know that 4 lots of 38 is going to be 4 more than 148. So it's going to be 152, because there's one more for each 4 persons. So there's going to be 4 more here than here. Same thing for 4 39s, that's got to be 156. 2 40s are 80. 2 41s are 82. Plus 42, plus 43, plus 46. All divided by 20. And now we're getting a bit lazy and it's a bit late in the day, so let's just cheat a little bit here and get our calculators out. So we have 35 plus 148 plus 152 plus 156 plus 80 plus 82 plus 42 plus 43 plus 46. 784 divided by 20. Am I happy? No, because that's only the first time I put the numbers in, and it's very easy here to make a silly mistake. So let's check one more time. 35 plus 148 plus 152 plus 156 plus 80 plus 82 plus 42 plus 43 plus 46 equals 784. I've got the same number twice, so now I'm going to start to believe it. Divided by 20 is 39.2. So the mean size of shoe is 39.2, which we can say is approximately. The mean shoe size was approximately 39 in our investigation here. So here we've tried to show the difference between mean, median and mode. how you would use it, how you'd use the data to plot the graph, how you'd use the data to look at the frequency or even the relative frequency as well. And I hope that this helps you. It's extremely important when you plot the graph to do them nice and neatly, good choice of axis. Don't use a whole page of, you've got a whole page like this in your book, and then you draw the graph up here. It's diddly squat, it's so tiny. You can't see anything, you can't really use it to read off data. So use lots of space in your book, make nice big axis. If you need 20 centimetres just for one little mark here because you've not got many, then use 20 centimetres, or you don't have a whole whiteboard in your book, but I mean use 5, use 10. Spread your axis out, use a lot of paper. It will look much neater and be easier to use the data from your graph. Good luck with graphs.